Hi, welcome in to Magical You with Vickie Miller. I'm your host, medium psychic, and I'm excited today because we are going to be doing predictions of 2026 with my numerologist, my friend. I've worked with her too amazingly, even in my own life. She does so much more than just numerology. I've known her quite a while, and I'm excited to see what 2026 is going to be as I see my own stuff. So I'm ready to see if that is going to come together here. So welcome in, Rhonda. I am excited to have you here. I'm going to let you, I know you do a lot more things. So you are a numerologist, but I know you have a lot more magic too to share with people. So please, share with everything you do.
So I call numerology just a slice of what I do. I'm doing more, what I call myself is the blueprint messenger, is that we all have these blueprints that we come here with, and I help people to decipher them, understand the frequencies and vibrations of their names and letters and addresses and all of that kind of stuff. I've been a holistic health practitioner for over 35 years, have my own school, I'm an author, published author, there's just a lot of different things that I do in holistic health modalities. I've had my own podcast for over 30 years. So I was doing it before it was cool, when it was still radio. But numerology is just a slice of the work that Pythagoras did. And I consider myself that I study Pythagorean mathematics, or the science of numbers and that kind of stuff. So, he was born 1500 to 2000 years before numerology became kind of a thing. It's just that they cherry-picked some of his work. So a lot of what I talk about is in correspondence to numerology, but it's kind of like I take it a step further. And one of the things we're going to do today, sort of my background and specialty in holistic health is Chinese medicine. Like, I find it so fascinating, and I love how it all overlaps. And then again, with the feng shui, there's numbers, there's colors, and it all just overlaps again with the science of numbers and studying those blueprints. So 2026 is going to be a really interesting year. People don't realize, first of all, we're leaving 2025 behind. It has been a year of closures, endings, trials, tribulations.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, it is. It has been a year of releasing, and it's the year of the snake in zodiac, Chinese zodiac. So the thing is that it's shedding, just like the snake. You're shedding the skin, you're getting rid of the old in order for you to have the new come in. And that's exactly what's happening. Now, what people don't realize is that this was the year of the wood snake. And now we're going into the year of the horse, but it's the horse fire. And so wood feeds fire if you're looking at things from Chinese medicine. And so what's happening is all these things that we've been releasing for 2025 has been sort of stoking the fire for what's going to manifest in 2026. So that kind of works with that. Now, the thing is that we will not have another horse fire for 180 years in a year one, because we're going into
we're dead. Yeah. Wow.
Right. And so I want to say that there will be a horse fire in 60 years, but it will not be a year one. So the fact that this is a year one, the number for the number one element is fire. Okay. Then we're looking at this. You see what I say? So
it's a double fire is what you're saying.
Yes. It's a number 1 year, which is about fire. The number one is about fire. It's about fame, recognition, passion, starting things, igniting things, getting things off the ground, those kinds of things. Then when you couple that with this horse, it's also the year of the horse fire. It's the double fire. So look for all kinds of new, trails to be blazed, so to speak. That's going to happen because the horse is, runs the trail. The fire is the blaze. So that's kind of going to be your theme, is to look at what's going to be new that you can blaze that path to get ready. Because in a year one, it's about building. It's about building, getting things set. It's not necessarily about everything's going to come to fruition in a year one. That happens in a year two, and it's based on the work that you do during a year one. So when we're looking at 2026, again, this is going to be the year that you're going to want to have ideas, be creative. You're going to notice that some people are going to be more selfish and self-absorbed. And for those of us that are givers, that's really hard. But I challenge people, especially like if you're in the healing arts or whatever, because you give to people all the time, your energy and wisdom, that this is a year that you kind of need to be a little selfish. You have to be a little selfish. You have to protect yourself. And I know that that's kind of a hard thing to swallow and to say, but because of this double fire, you really need to make sure that you are taking care of yourself, especially if you're a water sign. So
So let's talk about that for everybody.
Okay.
So, because I think selfish for a lot of people, especially since you said if you're a people pleaser or a healer and stuff like that. When you say, be more selfish, are you talking about putting up more boundaries, or if you don't be more authentic, you're, taking on too many things and you're just like, wait, I can't give to you. I need to like honor myself and come back and really do this one thing before I can, say yes to this. Is that what you're kind of saying?
Yeah. And the thing is that when a lot of people, like, the hair stands up on the back of their necks when you say you need to be selfish, it has to be that way for the people who are never selfish to kind of get that slap in the face. Like, you have to start making sure that your cup is full before you try to share with somebody else, whether that's information, whether that's your time, whether it's your money, whatever it is, your food, whatever it is that you want to share. But you want to have your ideas too. You want to have these ideas, like, that you want to kind of just protect that with that. But yes, boundaries, definitely boundaries, definitely. Especially if you're a water sign, because what happens is that fire boils water dry. So in this double fire, that you're going to find that those, the Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio are going to feel it, especially, and wherever that is in your chart too, those particular signs. Because of the water and the fire kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay. So then the water signs are going to feel it more because the fire is coming in there. What about, I would think earth signs too, though.
The earth signs are going to feel nurtured because fire puts nutrients into earth. So they're going to feel nurtured. They're going to have this whole thing coming up in the year 1 with this double fire where it's going to kind of burn through them. But it's going to, at the end, result is going to be that it's going to just like all new growth is going to prosper and come through. What you have to watch, though, is if you're a fire sign. So if you have like Aries, Leo, and gosh, I can't remember the other fire sign.
Oh my God. Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius.
Aries. It's Sagittarius.
Aries and Leo. Yeah.
So if you're one of those, watch out. Or if you're in a relationship with one of those people, just remember that this is going to be a really igniting kind of thing. So those people might even have like some people will think like, gosh, they're kind of manic. Well, it's because this is really stoking their fire, you see. So you want to make sure, and again, fire has to deal with like tempers, but it also has to do with passion and creativity. And you can't control fire. Fire is going to blaze. So that's another thing that's a theme for 2026 is that you kind of want to follow that beat of your own drum. You don't want to try to contain like, oh, I get up every morning and I write, for 15 minutes or 30 minutes or whatever. You know what? If this is something that is 3 o'clock in the morning, you wake up and you need to write then, do it then. Like this whole year is about sort of just being that individual. And maybe that's a better word than selfish, but individuality. You want to make sure that you're embracing this. And again, we're not going to have this dynamic for 180 years.
Wow.
With the fire. And we'll talk a little bit about this when we, do next month's show when we're talking about January. But what'll happen is that this horse year, New Year, doesn't happen until February the 17th. So you're still going to feel that residual as we first start into 2026. You're going to feel still some of that shedding that's going to happen that first month of 2026 until we actually get into the fire horse, which will be February 17th of 2026. So
let me ask you the 2026, because like you said, it's coming up in February. So is each month going to kind of like escalate where the fire starts and then you're just, maybe it's passion or maybe like, I also feel it's going to be like movement, right? Because fire burns, it burns away. So are you going to like you said with creativity and stuff, is it something that's going to be a build on? It starts in February and then it builds on each month?
It's going to change because each month has a different number. So like January's new beginnings, but like I said, we're still in the year of the snake, so it's still wood. So that is when you're going to stoke all your ideas. That's when you come up with the ideas. February is a 2 month, so it's going to deal with relationships. That's where you're going to notice the passion, fire, but it could also be working relationships. It doesn't have to be romantic relationships. It could be with your pets. It could be with your kids, all of those things. That's where you're going to feel that dynamic happen there. That's when you might want to say, oh, I have this great idea. Maybe we can partner with someone. But when you get into a 3 month, which is March, you're going to look at creativity. So that's what's going to spark the fire is doing things that are creative or fun. So if you're feeling stagnant or something in March with all these new beginnings, that's a time for you to just do something fun. Go to a comedy club, laugh, create, write, dance, sing, any of those kinds of things. Yeah. So we look at the energy of each month and then compare it also, because each month has its own dynamic in the year one. So everything is about new beginnings this whole year. It's about leadership. So we're going to see, that those kinds of issues come up. It's about ego. So you have to make sure that you aren't necessarily feeding the ego, that you're also, though, doing things that are going to be sort of self-protective, because you can let your ego get in the way, and that leads more to that sort of like self-conscious or sort of self-absorbed kind of thing. And you want to do things that are more from this like sort of like where you're the leadership, the dynamic, the instigator, the person who's starting things and all of that. And then April, I mean, if you want to kind of do just every month, we can do that.
Yeah.
April would be hard work. So this is when you're going to see that that things are going to be with hard work, that the fire is going to come, that's when you're going to have to really get your nose to the grindstone and just make sure. But that's also, you brought up the word integrity. That's the month of integrity. So all of the things that you've been doing, thus far in the year, whether it's new ideas, forming new relationships, coming up with something new creative, whether it's, dance or pottery, those are things that are going to take effect in that year 4, where you're going to be building that month 4, where you're going to be building foundation. And 5 is when all the risk is going to come, or the travel. So let's say that you did come up with an idea that you're going to create some kind of new pottery thing or candles or something. And then you find somebody that you can partnership that does, particular metaphysics shows or something like that. So you partner with them. 3, then you kind of get creative and you name all these candles or wacky pottery things, like unusual fun names. 4 is when you figure out how you're going to package it, how you're going to distribute it. And then when you get to the month 5 is when you're going to like go on the road with your show and do fun things and try new things and maybe mix it up. Yeah. And mix it up, like come up with different themes or, going to try different things. And then year 6 is when you're going to bring it back to community. Month 6, when you bring it back to community and do things that are family related, community related. It's about healing. June is about healing. And again, we're still in a year 1. So this might be the year you try some kind of new healing or try some kind of new family.
That's what I was going to ask you. Each month, are you trying more? It's more about new, though. It's not anything that you did in the past, because now we're in a new year and definitely new elements. So it's not like, most likely it's not going to be something that you did back there. It's something fresh and new.
It is. And here's another thing people don't realize is that a year 1, whatever happens in that year 1, whatever it is that you do, whatever path that you take, sets the tone and the energy and the frequency for the next 9 years of your life. So if you are still
hear about that, so that's big.
It is really big.
And you have a choice. You could be like great things, or you could be negative Nelly and just not go that pathway either, right? I mean, you still have a choice.
Exactly. Yeah. And it has even to do, like, it doesn't even have to be about your own individual life, because everybody on the planet is in a year 1. We all have our own personal years, but everybody on the planet will be in a year 1. So it could even be like relationships that we have with another country. Whatever we set up with that in a year 1 is going to carry over for 9 years, that you're going to see that kind of thing. So right now we're trying to bring things to a conclusion, where it's a year 9, where we're finishing things. But if you were to take some self-reflection and look back for the last 9 years of your life, you will kind of see what happened that first year of that 9-year cycle, and see how it was a theme in your life. It may not be the same thing, but, let's just say, for instance, maybe you got...
Mine was my ex. I finally got rid of him. So, yeah, I totally get it.
Yeah. So you just want to keep that in mind with that too. So July is a month 7. It's about spirituality. It's about, again, so that's going to be a really good time to do reflection, self-reflection. It is what I call a 1 with a hat on. If you look at it, the 7 kind of looks like it's wearing like a little hat, a 1 with a hat on. So it's like the 1, but kind of in disguise. It likes to kind of fade into the background. It doesn't like to be obvious like the 1. The 1 is like, where do I sign up? I want to go first. Get out of my way. I'm going to be first in line. I'm not afraid to try whatever this new thing is. And the 7 is still like willing to do that, but they don't want to be on stage. They don't want to be the forefront or the show. They stand more in the background and kind of do their own thing. So 7 the July month is a really good month for you to do new beginning things. but do them solo. Whereas February,
to go within.
2 months.
It sounds like the format to me, to go within and really contemplate and reflect and nourish. I feel nourished.
Yes. And then when we get into August, again, look for this Lion Gates portal to be really super dynamic.
Ooh,
because it's in Leo.
Yeah, right.
It's in Leo, which is fire. And then we have the double fire with the year 1 and also the year of the horse. So
is that kind of like a quantum leap month? Is it something you could just like bonfire it up?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Bonfire it up. That would be, again, too, that would be a good ritual, too, for whatever it is that you want to do. Like, I know you always are telling people to burn their list or whatever it is.
Burn,
that would be
yeah.
And it would be even something like a good thing to do would be to get play money and burn the play money so that you have money to play with and just burn through. Like, that would be a good way to manifest rather than just burning things you don't want. Like, burn, like you can have money to burn.
To manifest with the intention. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah. So that's, August. So look for the Lion's Gate to be super intense, super powerful. Again, it's about creating and doing new things. The lion is the leader of the jungle. So that's in August, we're going to see a lot of leadership things happen within, your community, your country, your PTA, like it could even be a boss where you work. It doesn't have to be, global, but it could be. So we're going to see that kind of things that's going to forge through. It might be when you get asked to be in a leadership position of something. You're like, I didn't volunteer for this. It'd be like, okay, yeah, I'm going to do that. So August is going to be a really dynamic month.
Could it also be, I'm wondering about this too with politics, is just the truth. And, we already have a lot of politics stuff going on and, a lot of shedding of the skin still. So I'm wondering how politics is going to show up in the year 2026 too. And, is the truth, because the truth coming out too, because I would think things would burn away, anything that's not the truth.
It can't stay hidden any longer. Like you said, it'll burn away. It's like once there's a forest fire, you can see straight through. There's no foliage or anything that's blocking it. And I didn't know if you wanted to talk politics, but yeah, we can talk politics. Whatever's going on as we enter this year 1. Again, 9 years is going to follow us. So people need to be really conscious about that. It could be something as simple as environmental regulations. Rolling back environmental regulations, and all of a sudden we have a lot of like pollution again. Those are the kinds of things that it doesn't have to be just about, this person, right or left, red or blue, that kind of thing. It could just be an overall thing that's going to impact globally. And so we're setting this up for year 9 and, a year 1. And here's, I'm just going to give an example. Back when Bill Clinton was in office and he was going to be impeached, and they were talking about, having him then step down. This was in a year 9. And I told everybody, I was like, that was before it was cool to talk about numbers, that I said, if he doesn't get impeached and axed by the end of the year, it's not going to happen. And it did not happen because the 9 was the year of the conclusion, you see. So then it set the premise then for that year 1. And then new things were happening and there was a lot of changes, and he made changes to the welfare system, the prison system, all of those kinds of things. So we're going to see those kinds of things that are going to happen on the stage dynamically, where leaders are going to be in the spotlight because 1 is about leadership. So they are going to be brought into that. And you mentioned, 4 being integrity, April's integrity. So you're going to see like 1 is going to be, January is going to be, what are they going to do for new policies? 2 is going to be like, okay, are they going to get the right and the left to agree? Because it's partnerships. 3 is, okay, what can we do in order to make people happy? And 4 is when the light's going to be shown, which is April, on what's their integrity. 5 the month of May could be about risk. 6 will be about what kind of community things that are going to happen politically. But, we're going to see a lot of things that are happening. And I think, as you can see, that's happening where things have been shedding slowly, that light has been being shown where, it's like somebody picked up the rock and all the cockroaches went running, right? Like that's kind of what's happening in 2025. So that's kind of what's going on there with that. So keep in mind that you want to make sure that you are having something that is absolutely what you want to live with for the next 9 years of your life.
Wow.
Whether it's
that's a biggie. I mean, that's a biggie for a lot of people to think of too. I mean, with partnerships, with jobs. I mean, pretty much all of your life, right? So that's a biggie to be thinking that.
And I want to bring up, it's about the energy of it. So like you brought up your ex, okay? You brought up your ex and you're done with that. But if you haven't gotten rid of the energy of that particular, relationship, let's just say that they were a tightwad. Okay, let's just throw something out there. Then if you haven't let that energy go, you will still have that repeat.
Lingering.
Yes, and so you might still attract people who are stingy or who are tightwads. So you want to make sure that you're not only letting go of that person, place, thing, individual, but also the energy of what it is that you that made you want to get rid of it in the first place.
Because it's in your energy field, and whatever you carry forward in your energy field, thinking of, focusing on energetically, then you're attracting. So that's what you're saying, is that is still.
Yes. So like, for instance, let's just say you're getting sued this year and you have a chance to settle. And you're like, yeah, but I think if we hold out, I can get a better deal. Or maybe you're suing somebody. You're going to carry that energy with you into year one. So you might settle that lawsuit in year one, and that's done. You think, oh, well, I'm done with it. No, that's just going to set you up for that energy of where maybe you're overcharged at the grocery store. Maybe something happens and you fall and get hurt, or someone gets hurt on your property. Like, you want to try to settle anything that you can by the end of this year, 2025, for that thing. And maybe people are watching this after that too. Just make sure that you get rid of whatever it is, so you're not carrying it through the whole year of 2026.
You're saying get rid of it energetically. Yeah, like really energetically forgive, let go.
Yes.
Yeah, like really. But the biggest thing I think for everybody is always forgiveness, because forgiving that person and not giving them any energy anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
So September, I think that's where we left off, is about it's about endings again. So that's where you're going to have things that are going to come to a conclusion. That's where you're going to kind of finally say, maybe you started a project in January and things are going to wrap up to where now you finally do have all the suppliers you need or the connections that you need. And now it's time to, actually bring it to fruition with that too. So it's not about things that are going to necessarily end. It's more about, you're going to be concluding things. And maybe it'll be even that you shift something. Maybe you'll be like, yeah, I didn't want to sell the purple ones anymore. They didn't sell very well. Or maybe the green ones didn't sell. Whatever it is, there's going to be sort of that cleansing kind of thing that's going to happen in September. Yeah. Okay. And then October is going to be a lot like January, because it's a 10-month. So it's a one thing. And one of the things that's going to happen in both October and January is that they are going to have lots of ones. So it's a really great time to manifest. So like October the 1st, October the 10th, October the 11th.
Yeah.
October the 28th, because 2 plus 8 is 10. October the 29th, because 2 plus 9 is 11. And then we're in a 1 year. So it's going to be 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. So both January and October are going to have similar energies. It's just that it kind of gives you sort of like that, like January is the rough draft, and October is going to be where you can kind of bring it into like the actual, conclusion. Yeah, you're going to
definitely planning a goddess retreat in October. Yeah, that sounds magical.
So, and then November, again, we're going to have lots of 111s for manifesting again, because it's a 11 month in a 1 year. So you're going to have that again, that 1111. So again, look for things to really be dynamic and happen quickly, because fire happens quickly. And so it's going to happen quickly in January, October, and November. And then December is going to have similar energy to March, because it's going to be a 3-month. 1 plus 2 is 3. So it's going to have that similar kind of fun, creativity, festivity. Maybe you're going to do the creative projects. Maybe you manifested, your new pink Cadillac in November. And so you're going to go driving around and just having fun and, throwing candy out in a parade, or, whatever it is that brings you joy. So that's kind of what that's about too. So that's kind of an overview, but 2026, again, new beginnings, leadership, ego, self-awareness, maybe is a better word than that. It can be awakening. Fire is going to make it hard for it to have boundaries. It is going to be hard for us to have boundaries. And we're going to notice that more other people are going to encroach on our boundaries. And what I like to tell people is, everybody's like, well, is that bad? Is that good? There is no bad or good. It's awareness that once you understand, like, Oh my God. Yeah. We're in Aries. Okay. It's April. Of course, there's going to be more fire things that are going to be going on. People's tempers are going to be shorter. They're going to want to sit closer to me, whatever it is. If you can bring that awareness to why that behavior is particularly happening, it's just like Mercury retrograde. Once you know it's retrograde, you can be like, yeah, it's just Mercury retrograde. So once you bring the awareness of how the numbers are telling you that story, because they're a language that we, don't tap into a lot.
I don't want to cut in here, but what I noticed being, medium psychic for 25 years is April is always the month, especially around Easter, that I always see war, or I see talk of war. I see global, huge anger stuff going on always, like for 25 years. I've always seen that's always the talk, like that's always the month we're always talking about war, talking about another nation, and so that makes sense. That's what that's about.
Yeah, and Aries is the god of war.
Yeah. So, yeah. That makes so much sense. Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering then with us this year, because when you were talking all this too, I'm wondering about the fire, because I see too a lot of literally fires, like volcanoes and, eruptions and explosions and underwater even and fires. And so when you were talking about that, so I'm wondering too, because you talked about in October and November, and I'm wondering with that fire energy, because it's going to go fast and powerful. And, I feel we're going to have fires literally in, wherever, all around the whole world. So could that also inflame that too and have more fires then?
I definitely think that with this year of the fire horse, not necessarily numerically, but with the year of the fire horse, and then us being in a year one, which is about fire, that you're going to see actual more physical fires. You're going to see things, and it could even be like car fires, because what do we call our engine but horsepower? So there's the horse and there's the power. It could be fires more like where there's ranches, things that are going to be more like mountains with like Montana or even Texas, places like that. So, and volcanoes, you're absolutely right about that too. So this is going to be definitely a year that is predominated by fire, things that deal with fire. And then this happening in October, because it has a 0 in the month, it has protection around it. You know how you like circle your wagons. So it's going to have more protection around it, but everything is going to speed up this year because of this fire.
Yeah. Yes. I've been feeling that like instant manifestation, quantum.
Yes.
Making. Yeah. Yeah. Well, very cool. So the theme, are you excited about 2026 versus 2025?
Yes. Oh yes, it has been definitely a year of trials and tribulations. Absolutely, trials and tribulations.
Yeah, major ending.
And when and again, a lot of this has to do with what's going on with just this planetary shift that we have that's happening. There's that dynamic. If you are sensitive to that kind of stuff, I think you've noticed it more. I mean, there's a lot of people who I don't get it. They tell me like they don't know what's on labels and they don't care. And I'm thinking, well, how do you not look what's on labels? You know what I mean? Like this just, right. Well, it's the same kind of thing with 2025. Like, how did you not see all these endings? How do you not see that that's what's the trail that's been left behind you? You've been leaving these breadcrumbs that you're getting ready. You're walking out of that old skin and you're going to, go into something new. So I'm definitely ready for that. And again, I just want to say too, that we are still in the 20s. So we're still going to see things that have been repeated 100 years ago. So that's going to come up like we had all of the things that happened like with women's rights, with prohibition, with, all of those kinds of things that we're seeing. Right. And so there's just different things that are changing.
What do you mean by that? So what are the things that you think are going to come up that be the most, prevalent with that? Economy is a big one. Mm-hmm.
The reason I see that is because 2 + 6 is 8. 8's lessons of money. 2 is about partnership and 6 is about community. So I see that that's going to happen. There's going to be more things like that deal with, censorship. Like here's an example. It's not prohibition necessarily like alcohol, but for now people that are on, government assistance with SNAP, all these states are saying, okay, you can't have candy, you can't have cake, you can't buy marshmallows, you can't buy chocolate chips, little things like that there's like a censorship kind of thing with that. So it may not be in big scale, but definitely the economy is something that we need to watch about. And again, what's going to happen is that some people are literally going to have money to burn, and other people are going to burn through their money. Is what's going to happen in this year coming up too. So, so we have to take a look at that. There's some groups out there now that are talking about how they want to limit the women's right to vote and just have one vote per household. That's a movement that's part of this 2025 initiative. Yeah. And so we're starting to
go backwards. I mean, we're clearing away the old systems. So new systems will be coming up, and we're in number one. So do you think they might be drawing some of the old things from the past and trying to put them forward into the future?
Yes, I think they are. And I think then that we have to take a back look and look at what happened 100 years ago. Prohibition didn't last, right?
Right.
It's like, and so
we have people are going to be furious, because I also been seeing that. I feel there's going to be more, fighting among the same people because they don't want whatever comes in.
And one of the things that just happened recently, big deal, was that this administration moved marijuana from a Schedule 1 drug to a Schedule 3 drug. So now there can be more research done. It's easier to get banking and things like that for the states that do have that. It's not legalization yet, but I can see where this could move into that as well, that, prohibition is going to be ending as far as it concerns, like maybe marijuana will go back to being a substance that is going to be completely legal everywhere, or at least medicinally. So there's things like that. The themes are going to do that. The stock market definitely is going to have fluctuations again, because that happened in the 20s. There could be shortages of things. But just learn from those lessons. If we can take a look and learn from those lessons and say, hey, this didn't work, or if we don't change this, it's going to lead to more problems, like more banking problems, or, more economic issues, those kinds of things too. So, but 2026 is all about new beginnings. It's a fresh start. Just be gentle with yourself, because as you know, we're shedding the old skin. So we're going to be sensitive. It's going to be like there's not going to be that protection that was building up for 9 years. We're going to be very vulnerable and exposed, that coming up that in this year one is that whole new, it's like new birth.
Yeah. So, and the other thing I've been seeing, well, we all know, is awakening. Everybody's waking up. Everybody's getting more intuitive, more consciousness, more aware. And I also been seeing like feeling, we're starting to feel where before we were very robotic and just did things without feeling. And now they're like, oh, I have a body, I have a mind, I have a soul. And I've even been seeing this in my animals, like especially horses. I'm a horse whisperer, so, I work a lot on horses. And what's been interesting to me, because I've worked with them for thousands of them for 25 years, is they're starting to now feel. So they've always been sensitive. All animals always pick up the feelings of owners. But now they're starting to feel like they're saddles. So the saddle is always a big thing for a horse. And I'm seeing a lot more issues with the horse now too, because they feel the saddle before, but now it's starting to bother them, because now it's becoming like, oh my God, I really feel this on my back. Where before it was like, okay, I'm a robot. Like I don't feel. And so this is us as people. We're also feeling, and it's overwhelming so many people, because they don't realize like the energy's always been there. It's just now like turned on like a bonfire. And I feel like that's also, I'm wondering about that with the fire. It's going to be like harder to get grounded, harder to be, your nervous system, I feel, could be more on fire, right? So it could be more inflamed. So I'm wondering about that too, as far as what a number one goes into the awakening third eye. Everybody's becoming intuitive, everybody's becoming psychic, but they don't know they're overwhelmed with it.
And getting grounded is going to be key for all of that, because one is the root chakra. So you absolutely need to do that grounding stuff in order to do that. And just know that the fire is nurturing the earth. And so by pulling from that particular thing. So getting grounded is going to be really important, because it's going to pull them out of the third eye,
right.
And when you look at things like, the third eye is that indigo, but the red then is going to make it more of a purple. So it's going to make it more of a purple rather than an indigo. So that's the kind of things that you wanted to kind of bring into your awareness as well. But definitely, and you're talking about these horse, being aware. It's been 60 years since we've had a horse fire coming up.
Oh, so I didn't think about that. Because,
So 12 years ago we had a horse, but it would have been probably wood. So, it's just,
The
it's
horses are
different.
going to feel it. I mean, they
They're
already
definitely
are,
going to feel it.
but yeah, they're going to feel it even more.
And more intuitive. Like, they're a very intuitive animal anyway, that they can tell a lot about a person.
Right.
So they're going to sense even your stuff more, like when you're around them, not you personally, but people in general.
Right.
When they're around horses. But just know that there's going to be those kinds of things. And again, with a year one and this horse, I think of wild horses, the Mustang, the wild horse, the convertible that's a Mustang. That's what's going to happen. Like, you're going to want to feel like that, where you're just going to want to take off and just be free.
I feel it's a wild child. I just feel like your gypsy soul is going to be like, wanting to take off the mask and try something new. And you may want to move across the whole world, or you may want to just like get like not out of your marriage or whatever it is. I just feel it's going to be like the authentic part of you is going to want to come out.
Yes. And again, one in feng shui is about integrity and recognition and faith. So integrity and authentic, being authentic are, to me, one and the same. Like, it's the other side of the coin. So you want to make sure that you are doing that you're doing things that are going to follow your heart. Because when you think of the heart, the heart is also something that's a fire element in Chinese medicine. So you're looking at that's going to fuel your heart as well. So if you're living in harmony with your heart, like, this is a year, maybe you need to get out of your third eye a little bit, you know, and do things that are more heart driven.
Yeah, totally. And then I'm wondering too, since it's in your heart, me being health intuitive, if there'll be more like heart issues and heart attacks, and your heart's all about the energy of your heart's about living through your heart. So it's about living through love, and so many of us don't. So I'm wondering too if that will kind of like kick up and be like, hello, you're not doing this and having some heart issues, until like to bring you back to you.
And it's going to affect you because I do health intuitive stuff too, like the mind body thing. So, and then couple it with Chinese medicine, the heart deals with passion. So you're going to notice it if you're not doing passionate, it's going to make you have heart, whatever it is. Like, maybe your heart just will be heavy. But also, the fire element, like I said, it boils water dry. Well, so what happens is that if you're not getting hydrated enough, or maybe you're not following your joy, you're going to find that your blood is going to be high blood pressure, because that's generally a lot of high blood pressure is because you don't have enough hydration in your body. So that's where you're going to see high blood pressure issues. You're going to see maybe unhappiness because you're not following your passion. And then the blood, when there's no joy, it turns into like clots. So there's another example where you can have a stroke. So absolutely, you're right on. You're going to see that there's going to be more heart things, and you're specifically going to see it in the summer month, starting in June and going through at least until Labor Day. Yeah. Because Leo rules the heart too. So you're going to see it then too. The season is technically summer, which is June until, like they have 2 seasons in the summer in Chinese medicine. So it goes until like August 1st, but it's still in Leo in August, which rules the heart. So you're going to have that until it turns, basically at least until Labor Day, but probably until the equinox in September.
So it's what I'm feeling is right now is the time, whether you're watching us here now or later, is to clear away any other baggage emotionally, physically, just like get crystal clear. I also think simplify, because everything, stuff holds on to energy. And so to simplify, and then the first of the year, I know the fire horse doesn't start till February, but is just be authentic and live it through your heart space. And I also am hearing, kick fear away, like live through your heart authentically who you are. And if you do what you love, and if you do that passion, it can be something as simple as every day just painting or drawing. It doesn't have to be, I think a lot of people think it's for a living, because what's going to follow is what you do for a living is going to follow your bliss. So it sounds like it's about following your bliss. And then if you do that, it's going to go for the next 9 years, and it's going to be a really amazing time in your life.
And I think you have to do it with intention. Like doing this, knowing that you are setting that tone, frequency, vibration for a path for the next 9 years. Don't just be making decisions that you haven't consciously process, or maybe even subconsciously process, because you can process them through a dream.
Kind of
wake up with a dream and have, but this would not be, you're going to want to be impulsive because it's a year one, but just know that the ramifications are that whatever it is that you do is going to have that particular theme then for the following 9 years.
I love it. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
And great. I'm excited for it. And we're going to have you on the show. I'm going to have you on the show monthly. We're going to do monthly check-ins on the number. How can people get a hold of you?
They can go to rhondareif.com. And from there, they can click on and find me on Facebook, on Instagram. It's RHONDAREIF.com. And one of the things, I don't know if you knew about this, last year, can I do a little commercial here? I had a calendar that I created, and I've got another one coming out for 2026. What I did was I took and I calibrated the vibrational frequency of all 365 days of the year. And then on there, each day, I give you 1 or 2 words that tells you what the energy or frequency is for that. So one day might be a day for fun. Another one might be for finances. And so you have that. I talk about all the different portals. I talk about Mercury retrograde. Sometimes I include meteor showers. It just kind of depends. It includes the Chinese medicine seasons. It's your metaphysical go-to calendar. So that's something that they can get, if they're really interested, that they can order that too. Yeah. And, but that's going to be on my website too. So, but there's, that's the easiest way to find me. I mean, because I have more than one Facebook page, but if you use that link, it'll take you right to there. You can instant message me too. I'm not so keen on Instagram, but I do have a post that shows my memes and stuff. So it's still a learning curve. And I also have a YouTube too that they can find from my website too. So you can read about me. You can see all the different blueprints that I offer and the retail stuff I have and the other frequency session things I do, and then find me too. That's the easiest way. You can just go to rhondareif.com and it's, kind of can direct you whatever ways that it is that you want to go. So,
and you can always reach out to me. People still reach out to me and I can direct you. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. I am excited, and we'll be doing check-ins monthly, and your calendar looks very full. So go check her out. And definitely, and you'll be back on here soon. All right. So thanks so much, and happy New Year.
Thank you.
Holidays to
happy
everybody.
New Year to everybody. Yes.
I know. Can you believe it? Yay. Finally. I'm excited. Yeah. 2026. Gotta be ready. All right. Namaste. Everybody have a magical day.